There is a new game being worked on that is going back to the roots of the original SWAT games, and I throw in Rainbow Six Siege in there as well. This game is called Ready or Not, a nerve-wracking game developed by Void Interactive, where you, as part of a SWAT team, have to make split-second decisions that could cost the life of an innocent or your own. And when a game is centered around cops and robbers, controversy ensues, apparently. An article was published recently by Kotaku about this game, saying that it has an alt-right agenda, claiming that it is an unsettling SWAT fantasy. I have linked the original unedited article in the description or comments below through archive.org. The reasons should be obvious, but I don't support a website like Kotaku due to the lack of knowledge of whichever game they talk about, and the obvious biases of their writers or freelancers, and the unwillingness or diligence of their editors to moderate these articles, all for the sake of clickbait and creating hot take articles that gets views. And just to make my point, the article states what kind of weapons are in the game. Your tools for pacification include assault rifles, shotguns, submachine guns, and of course the endless supply of military-grade zip ties. However, the writer left out two other types of weapons that are also available, which are riot shields and non-lethal weaponry. Of course, they failed to mention that because they want to paint the game a specific shade of red. I'm not going to sit here for an hour to dissect this article. I don't have the patience or the time for it. So before I go into this next part, I want to ask a question. Are any of you familiar with the red pill, blue pill thing? Apparently there is a political twist to it that I've never heard of before. The first time I heard of it was from an interview about the Matrix Resurrection movie. I think I know what it's about, but it does seem very trivial to me. I've never actually heard that before in any kind of phrasing. Going back to the article, I do have to quote this other part real quick. It's also a violent political fantasy with no capacity for self-interrogation. I understand there's a lot of current events that can make someone think that way, but if that was the case, there would not be a performance rating at the end. The article does mention this system, but doesn't go into detail, again, such as losing rating due to accidentally or intentionally killing a civilian, which means the developers do want you to play a specific way, one with rules and punishments if you fail to do so. The thing is, it's easier for the writer to try and make it the game's fault for being a SWAT-based game, instead of going after the players themselves, because that would be making assumptions and attacking the audience. Even though this article is leaving out specific details and making assumptions as to what the political intents of the developers are. The game itself is being developed by Void Interactive, that is in New Zealand, which is also mentioned in the article. So why would a group from New Zealand make a politically charged SWAT game? I get it, the game is set in America, and it's taking on serious issues, but at the end of the day, the game has systems in place to discourage reckless behavior. Whether or not the player decides to follow those rules are the player's decisions. And spoiler alert, the player's decisions aren't always going to be politically charged either. Some people just want to see chaos happen, and get the bad ending. Others have no emotional attachment to games at all, and can destroy an entire wasteland just because. Regardless, Void Interactive released a statement and the complaints of the article to give more clarity. The statement was included in an update on the article at the very end, but the Kotaku writer did not include anything else about that statement, whether they didn't agree with it or if they were satisfied. As someone who wants to see proper criticism and not just 9 out of 10 articles that you'll find on IGN, trying to pin a game as political is also not the criticism I'm looking for either. Not everyone has $40 or $60 to burn on a game that they're not going to like, and for these articles to come out to try and accuse any game rather than trying to get an interview or clarity on the source, a hot take article throwing developers under the bus seems to be perfectly fine. I don't get what the point of being a news website is if you're going to write your own opinions instead of confronting the people who are working in the industry. Just like the rest of the internet, hiding behind the keyboard is a lot easier than having a conversation. In any case, that is my take on this topic. This isn't the first or last time Kotaku will put something out like this, so let me know what you guys think about the game or the article and what your concerns are. And until then, I am Mr. Rain, and I'll see you next time.